County law enforcement report. I have briefed my copy. It's available to any of you. Keith, Ken, would either of you like to comment on anything while you're here?
Well, between Ken and I and Bill, we've talked a little bit about the city snow ordinance. And the problem we run into is the way ours reads now, it's when the snow is being removed. And it isn't a feasible thing that works out because there's not always an officer available to be here at that time. We would like, and I would like to see an ordinance where there's a snow ban between November 1st and April 1st.
Parking, a ban.
No parking on the streets.
Yeah.
Currently, Odebo's the only city in the county that has
That's what I was going to ask you.
this particular ordinance. Everybody else's is like from midnight to 6 in residential areas, no parking on the city streets. And in business districts, it's like from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Currently, what we're doing in like early as an example is, you know, when we're down here then after midnight, we can write parking warnings and put on cars that are in place. To date, we haven't towed any or written any citations in early, but you start getting that put out. I had talked to Bill a little bit. Apparently, the habitual violators are on South Main Street. And their philosophy is that, hey, it's cheaper to pay the $5 parking ticket than it is to move my car. In the state compendium of traffic violations, there is a section where we can issue an $18 citation for parking during snow ordinance. What that would do, if we issued that on that, then that money would get sent to the clerk of court's office when they paid the fine, and then that money, then the percent of that then gets shipped back to the city because it's under the city ordinance. I did talk to Pat Reese this afternoon about towing. You know, that's always another option for the habitual violators to tow it. Pat and I had a very good conversation. He's not really that interested in doing that. He said, you know, he's got good customers and he doesn't really want to have to be put in that position. I understand that, and I told him that we have to be fair and consistent, and we can't tow 2 cars and let the third one sit because he's a good customer of yours. You know, then that's bad for business for us. He did say though that in a pinch, if we really needed him to do something, he'd be there to help us in whatever way he could. So that's kind of how we left that. But I had heard that, and I wanted to talk to him before I come down and spotted out what I thought he said. So, you know, I think it'd be easier for us to help you out if the ordinance was changed to the no parking on the city streets. You know, we can issue warnings, we can issue citations, and when it snows, if you want. You know, some cities kind of have a grace period during holidays. You know, if all of a sudden you get a bunch of families in over Christmas and Thanksgiving, and let's face it, there's not a lot of off-street parking at most places. You know, we got some wiggle room and some leeway. But, you know, I don't know what else we can do. You know, these people obviously aren't afraid of citations or $5 parking tickets. They complain when Bill pushes the snow in front of their cars and behind their cars, but, you know, that I don't know what you want to do. So.
I think that's the thing to do. We'll just block them in. They want to park on the street and they've been told not to.
Yeah.
We haven't, I don't know of a ticket that's been written for quite some time for somebody parking during snow removal.
I did last year.
How many? 3? How many cars do you have on the street when you move snow, Bill?
Well, this last time it was pretty bad, but like Ken said, I think a lot of it was Christmas. 28 of them were out there.
I don't think the ticket gets their attention. I think maybe a little discomfort's probably what they need.
The downside to that, though, is you still got to come back and remove it.
Or let them walk through it a while.
We can walk through it for a while.
If we can get them out of the way, I think it makes for a cleaner street.
Maybe after the first or second time they might learn.
But you're thinking $5 tickets after the warning and then just kind of move up.
Well, what it is it's if we use this scheduled fine, it's $5 for the ticket. We get a charge of $5 surcharge, so that puts it up to $18. You know, a lot of places just ticket and tow, but again, where do you tow them to? Who do you get to tow? You know, I understand, Pat, we could always call Doug Rice out early to tow, or Denny's out of Lakeview to tow. You know, they'd come and do it, but
They'd want a place.
you know, I don't think that's necessarily the answer, but I think if we get somebody who's thumbing their nose or thumbing their thumb at you all the time, then, hey, tow their dang car. You know, about the first time they gotta pay a $75 tow bill and a parking ticket, maybe they won't park on the street next time. I don't know. I mean, we'll do whatever you want us to do, but,
Yeah, I
you know.
wouldn't think that.
You'd think common courtesy, they would be smart enough.
It's the same people all the time.
Yeah, it is, you know. And I'm sure it's frustrating for Bill and everybody else involved in it, but, you know, we just, like I said, the way your ordinance reads, unless it's snowing or they're moving snow, it's not illegal to park on your city street, and we can't always get somebody down here when it's snowing to take care of it, so I guess it's whatever you like to do.
Well,
Yeah,
I
they
need
need
to
to add
put
it.
Bill more on the spot, because if somebody gets towed, or if somebody gets a ticket or something, it's gonna be his fault because he singled him out, and then they'll be in here complaining to Joe, or to
He
Joe.
doesn't write the tickets.
Mhm. Well, they don't understand that. They think it's he that complained because they were in the way.
Had it put to your
It's
blade.
more of a problem.
I like it.
Take the
Get a little
side
paint transfer on the side of that blade, Bill.
out.
I looked at the New York City snow removal after the blizzard.
my.
They just flat ran over cars.
Yeah,
at
they
the owner's
did.
expense.
They did.
Our trucks aren't that good.
Well,
I guess I'm looking from the council for some guidance on what you'd like us to do, you know.
Well, I for one like to see the ordinance with the snow ban between those time periods. I think it would be beneficial and helpful.
just a no parking, just no parking
From 12 like you said, from midnight to 6, and downtown from 2 to 6. And that gives them an
I would love
idea
to
when
see
they're
that.
gonna be able to get at it and not have
Have
it.
no parking from November till April.
Yeah,
I think that's a little much.
yeah.
That's the time frame, but it's also a time frame within that is 12 to
With
6.
the hours, okay.
Most of them are gonna move them before they go to bed. They're not gonna wait till midnight and go out and run and move them. So
Yeah.
So if the snow comes in the afternoon, can you still ticket them then?
No. No.
Because the way it is right now is when it's snowing,
right.
so you're gonna not have that anymore.
Didn't our ordinance before say exactly what you're talking? We had a snow ordinance that specified hours.
I think we did.
Yeah, we got rid of it.
I think that was since I've been on the council.
Mhm. We changed it because we didn't like that ordinance.
Yeah.
But this not only gives you an
Which I
annual
give
date,
you
it gives you
I
an
can see both
hourly
ways.
time.
Well, you know,
If
that's,
we could get a foot of snow during the day, it would be nice if they'd get them off the street too, but I don't know how you're ever gonna have both ways.
well, that's the downside, you know, we gotta know when you're moving snow. I mean, do you want us to start writing tickets at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if people parked on your side streets when it's snowing?
See what you mean?
I mean, that's the downside to that is, you know, and we can't, when you're not doing snow operations, it's not a problem. But the way that ordinance reads now, at your scenario, then that would mean in theory at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when we're getting 2 inches of snow, we're down here writing people tickets for parked on the street.
Yep.
Is there a set fee for the ticket? I mean, is there a,
$18.
That's as high as it can get.
18
And it
bucks.
can't escalate?
Unless they decide to, unless they decide to
That kinda
ignore it.
hurt,
No.
18 bucks.
Unless they decide to ignore it, then it would go to court.
Yeah, I mean,
Then
but by
there'd be-
doing it this way, then you have some magistrate issue behind this. I mean, you actually have, either they're gonna pay the ticket, or they're gonna issue a warrant for their arrest for not paying the ticket. You know, and they're gonna have to come in and tell the judge why they chose not to pay an $18 parking.
Now, let me ask you this, do you give warnings before you give a citation?
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
you know, I'm not by no means suggesting we go out and start writing everybody a parking
Okay,
ticket.
okay.
But I think, you know, we can do whatever you want. If it's snowing and they're parked there, let's write them a dang ticket. If it's not snowing, write them a warning. I mean,
It's January, of course, and right now, we're probably not, we're gonna have to discuss that ordinance. And we probably won't get into that tonight, but I think we should probably start dropping some warnings. And then the same perpetrator the next time a ticket.
well, it's gotta be snowing when we drop the warning by your ordinance.
I understand that.
So, you know,
But, I mean, at least we're doing something
I agree.
during this winter season.
I agree.
How many, Bill, do we have that are just habitual offenders?
Two really stick out in my head, but there's probably about 10 cars involved in that.
10, okay.
Don't know about where they are.
500 block of South Main?
One,
One over on Park.
yeah, there's a couple over on Parker
There's one on Maple too, isn't there, Keith?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that just
Yeah.
about takes the 10.
But,
About 6 there,
mhm.
usually.
I think Newman has about 3 sitting out there on a light day.